shocking video has surfaced of a road rage incident that resulted in the most horrific action imaginable in a road rage incident. Now, the video you're about to see is very difficult to watch. It is graphic, so I want to give you guys proper warning before you see it. Now, this is an incident that happened in California. Once you watch the video, I'll give you more details into what occurred. Take a look. So after that happened, one of the people could be heard saying yes, as if that was the proper way to handle the situation. The person who was hit was 53-year-old Tracy Leavitt, and apparently he was getting into an argument with two individuals that were in a white pickup truck. We don't know exactly what caused the road rage incident. We don't know why they started arguing in the first place, but the argument basically led to one of the people he was arguing with getting into his idle vehicle and then running him over like that. And it's incredible because we have these conversations about how people just don't seem to value other people's lives at all. And this is a perfect example of that.
So he was arguing with, two guys were in the car in the pickup that he was arguing with. And he got out of his car is still on, keys are still in his car. And one of the guys he was arguing with went and got in his own car. So he got run down with his own car.
With his own car. Now, luckily, he survived that incident. He did suffer from some broken bones. In fact, his wife says that he suffered from broken bones and a collapsed lung and has undergone surgery to help
to have his hip and knee replaced.
Yes, yes. So he, of course, suffered from serious injuries as a result of that. But first of all, you have one person who's filming it. You hear someone say yes in the video, which is disgusting. Yes, what? Someone could have gotten killed as a result of that. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, they'll find those guys. And that's attempted murder. And, you know, you're going to go to prison for 15 years probably for that. And thankfully he survived. It's just, you know, it's just move on. And I tell you, I had I had one of the most uncomfortable road rage incidents. I don't have a lot of road rage. I generally let everybody go and then I cut people off. Like that's pretty much how things go. And I wave, right? I don't cut people off like dangerously. I cut into slow moving traffic.
Oh, right? Yeah, everyone does that. That's normal.
Right. That's how I'm interested in getting where I'm going. Right. That's why I got in a car, because I'm going someplace. I'm not out for a drive. So, you know, let's go. Anyway, so, and then, so I was, I had to make a crazy intersection. Won't bore you with the details, but I had to kind of make a left turn and go around one lane into another lane. So I'm here and I got to go like here, right? Well, somebody's coming down this way, but all the cars are barely moving. But I had plenty of room. I really did. But that guy didn't want me to do it. And he sped up to get really close. But, you know, he was just, you know, and then he pulled around and he was yelling and I'm like, and then he kept yelling and I'm like, so I rolled down the window and I'm like, what? What? We're all in the exact same place we would have been 10 seconds. We're all at the same light. Nothing happened. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like nobody did anything. And it's, and he knew it was me. It was one of the guys helping out with the audio here that who worked their current.
Oh my God.
And so he was like, hey, Ben. And I was like, oh, hey, what's going on?
Oh, that's brutal.
Painful moment.
I'm always afraid of that happening. Well, last week I had a really important meeting and I was running late. And the person that I was having the meeting with, I had never met him before. I had no idea what he looked like. We had only exchanged emails. So I was like furiously looking for a parking spot and I was already running late. And there was this person who was behind me honking and getting really frustrated with me, even though I was driving normally in this parking structure in order to find a spot. Like, I can't go any faster. I'm going to miss
Everyone
a spot.
in the parking structure is looking for a place to park, right?
That's exactly right. And when he honked, my initial temptation was to, like, lose it, because I was already in a high-stress situation, and I'm not doing anything wrong, and then I have someone pestering me. And then later on, I realized that the person behind me was the person that I was going to meet with. And I was so happy that I didn't lose my temper, because I'm not going to lie, in at least 60 to 70% of the cases, I would have lost my temper. There was a situation when I was much younger, I would never do this again, where I was in a parking structure and something very similar happened. And the guy just started like yelling at me or whatever. There was like some profanity. And I was like, oh, he thinks he's a tough guy. I got out of my car. I stopped my car, got out, and then went to the driver's side window of his car, and I just like lost it. I blacked out of anger and like just started yelling at him. And it was like a high stress day as well. But the whole point of us having this conversation and showing you that video is because it's not worth it. Don't get angry. Don't fall victim to a road rage incident like that. Tempers flare. People get angry. People do stupid things. You don't know who has a gun. You don't know how someone is going to react. You have to be safe. You have to be careful. And you have to keep yourself cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, and there's an ethical issue too. Like somebody cuts you off, even someone does cut you off, gives you the finger. They're 100% in the wrong. Everything they do is aggressive and lousy, and they're screaming at you. You are in charge of your next step.
Yes.
Only you. You can't bump them. You can't get them off the road. You can't obviously do what this guy just did with these guys, or probably just one of the guys. We don't even know if the other guy was involved at all, the other arguer, what they did to Tracy Levitt. Like you're in charge of your behavior at that point, you know. And I would say your best thing is take a deep breath and drop 5 car lengths behind and take another street. Like, get out of it. Doesn't matter. No good comes of it. And there's no he started it in these situations. None. Your step is your step. Your retaliation is 100% on you, regardless of the other person's behavior.
You just have to be an adult and not let your temper get the best of you.